Welcome to the Thursday afternoon tune-up. I am Diane Spadola, and this is episode number 28. This video series is brought to you by Accelerate Your Success, the business booster program for entertainers. When I'm finished with this video, you can jump on over to Facebook and join my free Facebook group by the same name. It's one-stop shopping for everything marketing and business development related. Think of this video as your information and inspirational pit stop before the race, which is your busy weekend. What do you do when you are at the gig and your contract stipulations are not being fulfilled? They're supposed to have a tent for you, and they don't. They're supposed to put you in an area with good lighting, and they don't. They're supposed to have a table and chairs for you, and they don't. They're supposed to put you someplace within distance of electric outlet because you're doing airbrush tattoos and your compressor needs power, and they don't. They're supposed to provide an extension cord, and they don't. It's important for you to have contingency plans that are going to enable you to be ready for anything that goes wrong on the gig. But you can't really be prepared for everything, and in some cases you might not have a car big enough to load all of the equipment that would allow you to be prepared for any contingency. Last week I was at a B'nai Mitzvah, which for those of you who don't know is a combination bar and bat mitzvah for twins, one girl and one boy, and it was at an exclusive country club. Chi-chi, discriminating, very expensive. I had contracted with the host of the event and asked for a well-lit area within 100 feet of an electric outlet and didn't need any furniture at all because I bring my own table and chair. I've learned from birthday parties that bringing my own table and chair makes my setup go a lot smoother, and I don't have to ask the host for anything other than to point at where I'm supposed to be set up. It makes life a lot easier for her, for him, and for me. So I got there, it was before dusk. The room was relatively dark, but there was natural light streaming in through one whole wall of windows, and that's where I was to be. But unfortunately, there was no room for my banner on that side, so I needed to move. I positioned myself where they told me by an electric outlet, but knowing that the impending dusk was going to be soon upon us, and there'd be no natural light coming in those windows, I asked for the chandeliers to be turned up on my side of the room. The waiter said, "No, we can't do that." I said, "Do you have a light that you can give me that would allow me to have light around my area?" So he went off somewhere and came back and said, "No, we don't have any lighting for you." And I realized, since I couldn't see my compressor because it was too dark and I couldn't adjust the pressure on my compressor, that this was not going to do. So I asked if he could take me to the manager so that I could talk about it myself. Well, he chose not to do that. He chose to go get the manager, who was clearly upset that he was interrupted from whatever he was doing. I explained that I was the airbrush tattoo artist and that I needed good lighting in order to be able to provide my services. He said, "I'm sorry, this is all we have." I looked at him and I explained very calmly with a smile that I needed lighting because it's airbrush tattoos and it was in my contract that I need an area with good light. At which point he looked at me and he said, "I haven't read your contract. I don't know anything about you, and let's not turn this into a big thing." Clearly, he was not in any mood to be asked for any special favors. He then said, "How much light do you need?" And I looked at him, and thinking I'd lighten the situation with my smiley sense of humor, I said, "Well, think about if you were getting a haircut, and how much light would you need to get your hair cut?" And he immediately said, "We're not talking about me. We are talking about you. How much light do you need?" I was speechless. And inside my stomach, I felt really, really sick. I realized that I had walked down the road with an individual who was hot-tempered And by asking for my needs to be fulfilled and taking him away from whatever he was doing, had clearly set us off on the wrong foot. He didn't want to help me, and I couldn't do my job without his help. It was kind of a pickle. He immediately ordered the waiter to go find a lamp out of the office. The waiter came back, gave me a lamp, set it up on a tiny little table at my knee level, and I said, that'll be fine. I took that lamp, had to rearrange my station, but I did put the lamp on the table and it worked fine. It was still way too dark, but it was better than nothing, and I decided to go with it. I also then made the decision that from now on, I would be bringing lighting in my car. Now, I don't normally do that because my lighting's not super attractive, but it would have been easier for me to go to my car and get a portable light, regardless of what it looked like, rather than talking to the staff at this country club and making what was my problem now their problem. So I learned a little lesson. Bring more equipment, which is not really what I want to be doing on the job, but it would have saved a really messy interaction. It would have allowed me to start the job with much more confidence. And I'm sure Matthew is sad that he was so mean to me. But be that as it may, I am now understanding that contract stipulations might be just that, but if you really want to do the work, which of course you do, adhering to contract stipulations about who provides what needs to be flexible at the time of the gig. That's it for this week. Hope you have a good weekend with plenty of light.